Canada will act to dismantle far-right groups after Muslim family attack, Trudeau.
Here's a summary of the article.
Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau on Tuesday promised to take more action to dismantle far-right groups after a hate-motivated attack that killed 4 members of a Muslim family in the City of London, Ontario. "We'll continue to fight hate online and offline. Taking more action to dismantle far-right hate groups, like we did with the Proud Boys by adding them to Canada's terror listing," said Trudeau, who is due to attend a vigil outside the London Muslim Mosque for the victims later on Tuesday. Police in London arrested Nathaniel Veltman, 20, in a parking lot about 3/10 of a mile from the London Muslim Mosque. The attack was the worst against Canadian Muslims since a man gunned down 6 members of a Quebec City mosque in 2017. In September 2020, Mohammed Aslam Zafis, a Muslim man, was stabbed to death outside a Toronto mosque. In February, Canada designated the far-right Proud Boys group a terrorist entity, saying it posed an active security threat after the January assault on the U.S. Capitol in Washington. Although the group has never mounted an attack in Canada, officials said domestic intelligence forces have become increasingly worried about it.
This post received a score of 30,000, with an upvote ratio of 86%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
We use meters and kilometers here in Canada. What the fuck is 3/10 of a mile? How many hamster penises is that in length? Seriously USA, get on the metric system.
It's made worse by the fact that 3/10 of a mile is about 500 meters or 0.5 kilometers. The source is American though, which is why they use miles.
Technically Reuters is part Canadian ever since the merger with Thomson. So how dare they?
It's difficult to imagine someone being so hateful that he would do such a thing to people who did no harm to him. I feel so sorry for the victims. This is beyond sad. Beyond tragic.
I can't even imagine how can someone even bring this up in their head. Like what kind of threat did he felt from a family that just went out for a walk?
I just don't understand how he was able to know that the victims were Muslims. I don't know if one of the victims have been wearing a hijab, but if not then he was definitely in some sort of hate group IMO.
The mother and grandmother both wore hijab outside. Also this happened beside a mosque.
So what he's saying is, Canada will get quarantined haha.
Well they do have an actual self-confessed neo-Nazi on the mod team so.
He's also a mod in, London, Ontario lol.
That's a bad look right about now.
Very sad news. Hope this is trailed as a terrorist attack.
Trudeau referred to it as a terrorist attack today, so there's that.
Well, at least in Canada these far-right extremists are referred to as terrorists. Here in the US, they're only terrorists if they are not white. Otherwise they're called activists.
I thought the preferred term for those fine January 6th folks was tourists.
There were multiple attacks on Muslims recently, but yay, let's wait till a family is murdered to do something about it.
It's the Canadian way. We'll pretend these are all American problems until it smacks us in the face.
Then instead of addressing anything, people all say, well, at least it's not as bad as in the US. I mean, Trudeau didn't come out and say there were very fine people on both sides. Edit, how are so many of you taking this post seriously?
That's a very low bar tbh.
US biggest export. Low bars.
Alberta starts sweating.
Jason Kenney's speechwriter literally just had a talk about how the First Nations children in the residential schools were, well taken care of, and should have taken more initiative for their own well-being, literally right before the mass grave of 215 dead children was found on the residential school site in Kamloops. I can't wait to see how the Alberta government fucks up this time.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.